Hi, guys. Nice to have you all here. To start, I would like to ask each of you, Aline, Rodrigo, to give a short introduction to GYRA and Thrive, starting with Aline, please.
Hi, everyone. Aline here. So Thrive was founded in 2017. We are one of the earliest AI-native fintech. And the reason why I say that, 2017 was a year when I was at MIT with my co-founder and my VP of data science. Everyone graduated from the source of a lot of this technology innovation, where Transformers was a year when the Transformers was born. And we definitely saw the opportunity how this technology could change the way how the agricultural finance today is executed around the world.
Since the beginning, the agro industry was
Since the beginning, and today a lot of people talk about, right? Everybody, I think now it's familiar with OpenAI, Anthropic, all the AI companies which are engaged in research and development of AI. The difference is that we started our journey, especially our VP of data science, everybody that was looking to LLMs, which is the foundation for the large language models, they hallucinate. They can go to general search. We started with a graph AI, and now we evolve into graph AI synergetic with LLMs in order to make better models that understands and reason on credit risk and risk in general assessment for ag industry.
Okay, and what about GYRA, Rodrigo?
Hello, everyone. I'm Rodrigo Cabernite, co-founder and CEO of GYRA. GYRA started also in 2017. We were actually Brazil's first open finance operation overall. So we connected to Mercado Livre via API in order to gather data and to take credit decisions based on that. So nobody was talking about open finance at that time. And we believed it would be a big thing going forward. And so we have been accessing data through API since then.
From sellers in Mercado Livre?
First sellers Mercado Livre, then on other platforms, and then small businesses overall. And focusing very much on all different sorts of data. Evolving a few years ahead. Nowadays, we became more of an infrastructure company. We provide software for larger credit transactions, credit operations by banks and platforms. They use our platform in order to smoothen out their credit decisioning process. So our backbone is data.
Okay.
So we have been working on models for 7 years now. And most recently, we launched a new product, which is Brazil's first SaaS platform for credit decisioning. So basically, we want to improve everyone's access to credit decisions, right? So we're kind of hooked up to Serasa and Bovista, and we're coming with this new product to the market where you can really take credit decisions with much larger amounts of data, and we actually analyze it for you.
Okay. And we are here to talk about AI. So I'd like to know, how do you actually use AI in your operations? Starting with Aline, please.
Yeah, the AI powers the full... Thrive also has a fintech, which is a marketplace and a platform which connects the capital market with the agricultural supply chain industry players who are engaged on credit transactions for this industry. So the AI powers through the credit lifecycle journey, from know your customer to, like Rodrigo here, performing all the credit risk assessment of a given farmer, as well as guiding the portfolio or the investment rules or policies for the capital markets. Eventually, we use that in order to qualify what the capital market, family funds, banks like Banco do Brasil or any other players, they will buy as a secondary market of these type of credits or insurance.
Okay. And what about GYRA, Rodrigo?
So yeah, we've been accessing data from all different sorts of places and categorizing them. So our first predictive AI tools that we applied were probably around 2018 for the first models. And I confess it was really hard to have sufficient data at that time, right?
Yeah.
We were a small fintech, we had like 10,000 data points.
That's always a hurdle, right?
Yeah. So we needed like 1 million, right? Nowadays you have tools where you can expand your data and like simulate much easier larger databases. But basically, we use lots of AI when we talk about open banking or open finance, and also credit scoring and models in order to take credit decisions.
Okay, and you use AI for a long time, but how this use has been evolving since 2018, for example?
Yeah. So we were a long time using it for scoring and predictive purposes. So we're looking at the past, how credits performed, and then with time, you can retroalimentate and feed your models in order for them to evolve based on your experience, right?
Okay.
Over time, I think we started to move into the fraud prevention space, where like some very good platforms are available where you can use that you can use in order like to identify fraudulent behavior with face match or like different type of signatures. So I would say in our world, it's really about like scoring models and about anti-fraud / KYC type of activity.
Okay. And Aline, you started saying us that you were studying at the MIT when the generative AI was emerging. How do you see the use of generative AI in a company like Thrive? Is it possible to adopt that?
Yeah, we use, but it's very dangerous when you don't know to which case and how you're going to use it for the domain of finance or even healthcare. The thing in Gen AI, which, I mean, again, the foundation of that is transformers. Transformers, they are basically the classic, it's the evolution of the, it's a deep neural network, right? Requires a bunch of data, which needs to be fed. And the large language models, they have a better mechanism of the learning, how they pay attention to where they're going to get. So therefore, they generate more cohesive and very convincing answers. Problem is that, I mean, this technology is amazing. Like, we use it to some feature engineering or some aspects because we use the LLM stitched to the graphical knowledge-aware models. Those are these graphical knowledge-aware models, they are the ones that do the job to make abductive reasoning, to make financial knowledge, logic, and also to make the risk assessment classification. We stick them, the LLMs, as a way in order to allow an interface for the user, because you need to have one human in the loop to feed back the data, also to help this human to understand how this models reasons. So I think Gen AI into that aspect, I mean, everybody talks about that, about the applications of that in fintech, but I don't think it's every single case of the financial, I would say, job or service that you should apply that irrespectively. Yeah, because it cannot hallucinate, right?
Yeah. Do you agree, Rodrigo?
Yeah, I totally agree. We like the same problematic of having not large enough databases. I think for us, like the new generation of software helps a lot, especially when you're looking at also like anti-fraud. Because when you're doing like pulverized credit, which is in our case like our background until some time ago, where we're most focused. They're part of the credit analysis and the analytical part leads back to anti-fraud, right? So I think this is, in our case, where we use some of the tools that now are very vogue and everybody talks about them. But you need to be very careful in order like not to make mistakes. So for us, as a credit software house, we're very much focused on like predictive models than Gen AI models at the moment.
Okay, so you both said that we have to be careful, but getting straight to the point of this panel, in your view, does AI have the potential to revolutionize what we understood today as a fintech?
Oh, yeah.
How so?
Well, if you think about, I mean, money flow depends on information, a very good reading from investors about risk-return profile, right?
Okay.
Every bank or every trader, they invest on an asset because their knowledge or their belief of what they understand about this asset. Information comes from data, and all of that actually comes with a mental model that we are reasoning. Artificial intelligence in a certain way that's why a lot of people are fearful on its implication, because it can definitely, you're talking about a technology that can bring all these rules, which sometimes are siloed or they are just sequestered in the hands or the powers of few companies in order to diffuse it, which is part of the vision that I have, because mostly what inspired us to start Thrive is because both me and my co-founder was in Credit Suisse in Brazil.
Your husband too?
Yeah, my husband and my boss and my co-founder.
And he's here, I guess.
Yes. But we started Thrive exactly because this belief that AI could unlock for the agricultural capital market value. We have $320 billion just to finance the main row crops in Brazil and US, not talking globally.
Okay.
And I'm not even talking about the derivatives market, just working capital, 320 billions. Part of that, when you talk about most of the institutions in the capital market, they are not as present, like in Brazil, I mean, except Banco do Brasil.
Yeah.
I mean, the participation or the pie of the pie chart piece of the banks or financial institutions is very small relative to its potential. When you talk to them, it's all about knowledge, understanding, the connectivity, the assessing ag is complex. I don't know how you guys, it's a lot of asymmetry of information, which actually sometimes is within the agricultural supply chain experts' knowledge. And we saw how we could build AI and adopt this technology to unlock all of that.
Unlock value. Now, Rodrigo, do you see a revolution coming in fintech due to AI use?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at a large corporate that is like in some sort of industry, for them to take a decision of starting to use AI in some of the processes is like a big decision, which is very foreign for them. They need to acquire like some type of knowledge of something they don't really know naturally from their core business. Whereas if you're a fintech, you're already like some sort of like product driven, you're data driven, and you've been doing this for a while, right? Maybe you're not exactly using like Gen AI or like some sophisticated predictive tools, but at some stage, you're using a little bit of it. Okay. Maybe it's not your technology, but you're using somebody else's technology. Like every fintech, everybody that started with data, there are some exchanges of data with other platforms, with other companies, and they enhance what you have, and it's very collaborative. So I think the next step is definitely what we do will be done by more people. And we, fintech, we will help like incumbents, banks, and corporates like to really use those tools in a more natural way than they're doing now.
Okay, I'd like to get your view about the AI used by fintechs in Brazil in general. Do you think Brazilian fintechs are using that at the level that they should be using in order to be competitive today?
Yeah.
Starting with Aline.
I don't know about your. I think the world is not using in the level that it could be. It's not something. Actually, I'm based at Thrive is based in US and here. And honestly, in the field where we are in fintech, I feel that the companies here, they are more looking forward. I feel that adopting it. I feel the same level. I don't know about you, Rodrigo, but
even more than American ones, you say?
Yeah, I mean, what I don't think, like, one thing is trying to become your business in your products enabled by AI. I think everybody's pursuing. The other thing is, okay, do we have true, companies like ours, which are engaged in research and development and pre-training models for foundational models? I think that, no, Brazil, we don't have
not doing that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Rodrigo?
I mean, we're in a quite complicated environment, right? We're the country with most hacking attacks and cybersecurity issues and data privacy concerns and all those negative things that you can imagine. But on the other side, we're also in one of the most interesting markets with a huge potential, huge population, underbanked, and everybody has a smartphone in their hands, and we have power and everything that you need in order to run a cloud and whatnot. So it's a very convoluted mix.
Yeah.
But even if we don't use the tools well enough, we have Nubank, many of the products have some sort of AI embedded. Or even, you don't need to go that sophisticated. You go to Banco Inter or other financial institutions. They're using AI, mainly in anti-fraud, some credit scoring. But I think we're not even touching the surface here. As Aline said, there's much more to be done. But compared to other places, I'm not sure if we're lacking too much behind. I feel everybody's struggling to
figure out
everyone.
It, right?
Okay. And on the other hand, is everyone who claims to be using AI actually using it for real? Or is there a hype that some companies do for marketing purpose?
AI washing.
The AI washing.
I have a feeling everybody needs to be washing something. At the moment, there are lots of people washing AI.
AI.
I know.
Greenwashing, but now it's AI washing.
I think I agree with you. I think, just I think there is a lot of entrepreneurs that they exaggerate or they, that they misuse perhaps some of the definitions here to try to capture that halo now.
The zeitgeist.
And also there is a lot of venture capitals that pretend that they understand this industry or companies that do that, which they don't, right? And it's truly, I feel it's actually, we are living, it's just like a new age of the .com in the early 2000s, right? You had marketplaces, but you have marketplaces like Amazon, or you're going to have MySpace, or you had a social media, and everybody in this mixed definition or semantics definition that the market was trying to find. I think we have companies in AI that they are enabled by AI, companies that they are not enabled by AI, they are analytics. There are companies that are more research and development engaged, that are infrastructure, in data pipes, MLOps. So you have a universe which I think is becoming understood and defined now. Okay.
And you both, you operate startups with similar ambitions, but in very different sectors. What are the particularities of data availability in each of these sectors? Because, Aline, does the agricultural sector tend to offer less digitized information than we imagine?
Oh, yeah. So this is the thing about ag, which is hard. Rodrigo it's interesting. It's scaling in other industries is easier than in ag, because ag, you need to model weather, soil, farms. And the reality is that most of the agriculture farmers or the agricultural entities in business, they never cared, or they were never wired to think about data as an asset for them, or they invested in shitty...
In data gathering solutions.
Exactly. They invested in shitty ERPs, which are still routing Fortran, code variation. So it's very hard for us, in our case, to extract the data assets to train very powerful deep neural networks, which in fact made us to be successful in this research and development space, because we need to be very clever to deliver to our customers the high power and precision, the deep neural networks, but in smaller data assets. But ag is terrible for,
Yeah.
except the large companies, but like a companies like ours that we need to collect is very hard.
And what about you, Rodrigo? How do you see the data availability in your sector?
I mean, we've been around for like 7 years, and we've come out of this digitalization phase of the Brazilian economy, like when no physical money circulates and you have payment systems, when there are not so many stores but you have marketplaces, you start to have digital data available and cloud computing becomes more accessible. So in Brazil, actually, I think we benefit from a little bit of a chaotic data marketplace. But if you have sufficient technology and experience, you can actually benefit from that, because probably your models will be better than your competitors' models if you understand where to get the right data from. And the beauty of working with data is that we started using it for the first 4 or 5 years for ourselves, for our own credit activity. Then we stopped doing this, and now we're selling it in a SaaS format, like with a yearly subscription model to all sorts of different companies in Brazil. So everything that we understand, everything that we learned over time with data and modeling, credit decisioning, is now available in SaaS for whoever wants to use it. And if you want to do like 50 consultations a month, there's like a small package. If you want to do 1 million, it's like an enterprise business for us, and it's freely available for everyone. So data is not really a problem.
Okay, and we have time for a last question. A sensitive issue that AI accelerates is the concern about data security and privacy. Is it easy to guarantee these two things in your companies? How do you see that question, Aline, that issue?
In the aspect of the data,
that you collect, that you manipulate, how do you guarantee that it's safe, that you cannot violate the privacy of the...
You have protocols, and usually these protocols, of course, you need to observe also mirrors, data privacy, all the regulations in how you handle and manipulate the data. Of course, some of the data assets you don't tap without users' consent, which is something that we need to put some operations around that, which costs money, yes, gets complexity, but I mean, eventually everybody needs to do it. And in our case, is more challenging because the models, they need to be explainable too, right? That's why it's not all, I also don't believe that all Gen AI, deep neural networks is going to be the best for financial industry, because regulations requires cases of that.
It's ethical behavior is very important in AI, because there's no limits to AI, right? The ones that have to set the limits is ourselves. So we are responsible for what happens from now on. And this is why we need to organize and regulate ourselves.
It requires a regulation.
Absolutely, yeah.
And are expecting it to come in the upcoming years here in Brazil, for example?
Not only in Brazil, but yes, also. It's very important that you have regulations, but it's very important that you give technological innovation freedom enough for it to evolve. And there needs to be a balance. It can't be skewed to one or to the other place, because we will have problems either ways. Either we lag behind, or we can face into security and ethical issues that we would like to avoid.
Yeah, and regulations coming before innovation tends to hold innovation.
Yeah, that's it. So guys, thank you so much. We are ending here, and have a nice event. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.